Alright, so here we are. Another day, another tutorial and how-to. Today's rock mining. Let's look at what we're looking for when we rock mine, shall we? 3 things. Dolomite, lowest value, ignore it. Now, aphrite is worth picking up if you find them in large clusters. However, hadanite is the grand prize. You want hadanite. A couple examples of rocks that you'll see out in the wild. And here's the aphrite. Now they didn't have the hadanite example. You look for the kind of purple and pink veins on the rock. Now here's something very important. If you don't own a rock or a ship that can carry it, you can rent it here. I am at a refinery station. They're all the same. You can rent what you need here. If you are pretty confident that you're going to really enjoy doing rock mining, rent for 3 days. You'll make more than enough money to buy the rock itself outright, and depending on how well you perform, you could even purchase a ship outright for this purpose. Alright, this is where you buy the Pembroke suit. That's critical if you're going to go to Aberdeen, which is a really, really hot moon. And there we go. The Pembroke helmet, and you also need the suit. It's listed under suits here. All right, 10,000 for the main suit, and there we go. Let's get out to the field and get to mining, shall we? All right, we're here to pick up our rock. So, landing. Then I'm going to load up my rock on my cutlass. And let's get ready. Alright, looks like somebody left their rock out. Let's go check it, see if they left any goods behind real quick before I get out to the field myself. You would be surprised how sloppy some people are. Alright, he at least had the foresight to unload it. Alright. And here we are. This is where you call in your vehicle. Right here. Here it is. Let's call up the rock, then go load it in my cutlass. Hopefully not get too distracted before I take off from the mining location. There it is. Gray Cat Rock. Now this is older footage. They take longer than 14 seconds to spawn. They actually take a few minutes. You can decide whether or not you want to pay the expedited fee. So, Shubin Mining Facility and ArtCorp Mining Facility is where you call up your vehicles, and you can also sell the goods once you're done. It's an all one-stop convenience. Let's take a look at a few loot boxes while I wait for my vehicle to come online. Free stuff is free stuff. Always be opportunistic. Okay, here's my rock. Let's go take it to the cutlass and load it up. Now, I would always suggest you close your door at these locations. Piracy is on the rise, and it's too easy for somebody to slip into your ship undetected. Your safety always comes first. All right, we're loaded. Let's get a move on. Now, for the example of this video, I've got Daymar and Magda. You'll see footage from Daymar and Magda. There are several locations that are good for rock mining. All right, let's go to the northern region of Daymar, OM1, and we'll descend into the planet. Now, what you're looking for when you descend, you're looking for rough terrain. That's where all of the valuable rocks spawn. And again, you're looking for hadanite. That is the grand prize. Dolomite is the least valuable substance. It's hardly worthy of your attention. Aphorite is good if you find it in large clusters. Now, Daymar, it's pretty rare that hadanite comes in clusters larger than 3. Whereas many of the moons around Hurston, you can get those large clusters of hadanite. But one good thing about Daymar itself, it's very consistent. It doesn't take long to find the next cluster. Even though they're usually between 1 and 3, it's pretty rapid fire and beginner friendly. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, press tab to send the ping out. Now, small rock clusters can show up at 4,000 meters. Between 4,000 and 2,000, that means it's potentially a rock cluster and you should scope it out. Now, if you send out a ping and something shows up 2,000 meters or closer, definitely check it out. That definitely means it's got the rocks that you're looking for. So if you're watching kind of out of the periphery of my vision, you'll see that there's a box symbol with a distance. And I'm just sending out pings while I'm flying. And anything that shows up 4,000 meters or closer, I immediately investigate. Looks like I found something. Let's see if that is what I'm looking for. Sure enough, there it is. See, the box symbol changed into diamond symbols. And lo and behold, hadanite. Perfect. Let's find a nice place to land. And let's go scoop it up with my rock. There we go, 10 out of 10 landing, right? Okay. And step by step, here we go. Alright, so take your time, it's not a race. Press M to activate the mining laser. Scan, let it fully scan. The information is on the right hand side of the screen as to the size and percentage of the hadanite inside the rock. So I immediately get to work. Slowly and gradually increase power to the laser. I'm watching the meter on the right, try not to overdo it. Now, usually, as the meter is filling up, you want it to get to the green. Once it gets to the green, dial back on that power pretty hard. Otherwise, you risk overcharging it. Also, if you think you're going to overcharge it quickly, just point the laser off the rock, dial back a bit, re-engage. It's a delicate balancing act, you just kind of have to learn how to do. You'll get it with practice. Don't rush it. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. There we go, I found that sweet spot. Oh, there we go. Some rocks are more sensitive than others, so yeah, just have to play it smart. Alright, looks like we got a glitch on the server. It's supposed to pop. There it goes. Now you press right click on the mouse to change it to extraction mode, but I've opted to pop all the rocks first, and then I'll grab the goodies. So here we go again. Gradual on the power, dial back once you hit the green. Just try to keep it in the green. Like I said, some rocks are way more sensitive than others, and it's a delicate balancing act. Up, a little overcharged there, so I let it cool off so it doesn't become a bomb and blow me up. There we go. About to pop. Nice and clean. There we go. Let's get that last one. Alright, remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Now this rock here is very tricky. It's got a very small green zone, so you just gotta focus. And pop, nice and easy. Alright, now I've right-clicked, change it to extraction mode. Time to scoop up the goodies. So your standard rock has about 80 units of cargo in it. Not like full size, like just under 1 SCU. Now, as you can see, I've been working with a very glitchy server that day. Sometimes you have to troubleshoot just to get that thing working. Yeah, that was a particularly rough day for me. The classic IT solution, power it off, turn it back on. There we go, back in business. Now let's scoop up the goods. Don't try to get them all at once. Start on the outside, work your way in. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Yeah, I had to cut the volume because I was muttering some not very good words at that moment. But here we go, back in business, scooping up the goods. A full rock of Hadanite will fetch you about 200,000 in-game money. So rock mining is a very profitable activity that you can do. And if it's something that you enjoy, it's a great way of making money. You just turn on your favorite music, turn on your favorite podcast, and just enjoy the process. It's not a race. You just take your time, get it done. Now, there's some special considerations. With the rise of piracy, you need to be a lot more aware of your surroundings. Not just the task that you're doing. You need to legitimately keep your head on a swivel. This game has become a lot more PvP centric. So, the greatest threat in this game is other players. There is a radar on the rock at the top left of the screen. Do glance at that radar every so often. Make sure you know. When you land your ship, I suggest you keep the power on your ship and put power to your shields. So in case you have to take off, you have a few more seconds in which you can attempt an escape from a hostile player. NPCs are not very threatening. They do occasionally show up, but you're more likely to encounter a hostile player. Alright, easy as that. So it is a process, but here's just one example of the process of cracking open the rocks and scooping up the goods. You'll repeat this until your rock is full. Also, for ease of selling the goods, go to the cargo container at the back of your rock and transfer the goods from the rock inventory to your ship inventory. So when it comes time to sell the goodies, it's a lot easier. Sometimes the location does not detect your rock, so you can't access that inventory to sell the goods, but it'll always know that your ship is there and you can sell from your ship inventory. So repeat this process until you decide that you're done or you filled up your rock. And if you decide that you're having fun, empty out the inventory of your rock into your ship and keep going. One important thing you need to know is where to sell your goods after you've collected them. You can go right back to the mining locations where you spawned in your rock and loaded it on your ship. The building that you need to go to will be labeled as storage. Or if you feel like you don't want to go there, you can always go to any space station that has an admin office. Never take your goods to the Trade Development Center. You will not get paid full price for it. But any mining location or any administrator office will pay you the same rate. Now I want to talk about the kinds of ships that you should use for rock mining. We already know that the Cutlass Black is an extremely good choice for the activity, but there are 3 more ships that will fit the bill perfectly for this activity. So besides the Cutlass Black, which is tried and true, it's a workhorse and it works perfectly for this. The next ship I would recommend is the Nomad. I am not particularly fond with how difficult it is to load and unload the rock in the bed. You have to be precise in how you park and how you unload. That being said, it is the cheapest ship in the game that can carry a rock. Not only that, it has an incredibly small cross-section, which makes you difficult to detect over a long distance. It's not a bad choice. You can't go wrong with a Nomad. The next ship that I would recommend, even though I don't use it myself, is the Freelancer Max. The Freelancer Max specifically, not any other model of the Freelancers. The Freelancer Max will comfortably fit a ROC in there, and it's got decent flight characteristics and handling. Now, the final ship that I would recommend, and I highly recommend, would be the Valkyrie. The military dropship, the premier troop transport, doubles as a wonderful rock mining transport. Not only that, you can fit 2 rocks in there and bring a friend along if you want. And it has the shortest distance between the pilot's chair and where the ROC is sitting in the cargo bay. Also, the Valkyrie has 4 VTOL engines, and it has some of the best flight characteristics in atmosphere. It's not particularly fast, but it flies extremely smooth, and it handles like a dream. It'll do you well. And again, the 4 ships that I personally recommend: Cutlass Black, Nomad, Freelancer Max, and the Valkyrie. Alright, I've given you the basics on how to do the activity. Now I want to bring in a unique perspective. I told you a moment ago that this game is becoming more PvP centric. So I've decided to ask a pirate player and a ganker what you should be on the lookout for to protect yourself from the pirates.
Follow
and
the
gankers.
herd and do what everybody else is doing.
Listen to what he
And
has
that
to
makes them
say.
easy targets.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. Hey. Alright. So for those of you watching the stream at the moment or after the fact, say hello to PWS Comanche. He is a really good source of information for ganking and murdering players. If you listen to him, you'll learn what you should be on the lookout for. And yeah. So I know...
But see, like, I think criminals have an advantage here in terms of intelligence dissemination, because all of us are doing it different. Like all of the ganker groups I'm aware of, all have different MOs, you know,
Yeah.
and even different target preferences and hunting preferences.
Yeah.
And because there's no real guide for gankers, you know.
Yeah.
There are some, like, quote unquote ganker channels, but it's not what we do, you know.
Yeah.
And so we're going out and learning our own things, but then for the bulk of the law-abiding community, it's like, okay, watch this mining video. This guy said go to the North Pole OM1, and then just go down and hunt the mines of Daymar for Hadanite.
Yeah.
So now I know that I can go find Hadanite miners there.
Because they follow the advice like sheep, and they're coming.
Yeah, and I
slaughter.
don't need to get all of the Hadanite miners or most of them or any specific one. I just need to get some here and there, and I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, you're here to just blow stuff up, and if you get to take a box full of goodies, that's just a bonus for you. But
yeah, I mean,
there are dedicated pirates.
We always do steal shit. It's just not worth the time to steal everything right now. With AUEC is like so devalued and easy to get a hold of. Like,
Interacted, I've chatted with members of Chaos Squad, and they stay on top of the trade information and where people are going for mining. Like,
oh yeah, we've got alts in all of the major trade orgs and everything. Just keeping tabs on things. We have. I've got hot links to all of their little calculators and spreadsheets and stuff that they use for tracking where to get cargo at. Like, it's all open resource shit, man. So like everybody's got it. It's no secret, you know.
Yeah. See what I'm doing. What advice would you give me to help me become a harder target? I am descending from OM1, of course, as you've probably already seen.
I would want to be at least 300 kilometers away from anyone who came straight down from OM1 at a minimum. So and at least 300 km away from any other quant point.
Yeah, so you see that I'm kind of avoiding all quant points. I'm kind of going down at like a 45 degree, even greater than 45.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you can detect a cutlass out about 21 and a half, 22 with little issue.
A lot further though if it has its lights on and it's dark.
Yeah, no, at nighttime I always keep my lights low. I'll occasionally hit ping, but I heard in the past they had pings were visualized. So you
in the old days, like 3.13, you could see someone's ping from over 300 kilometers away. It was amazing.
Oh wow! I bet that made pirating them really easy.
It was so much fun.
Oh wow!
As long as you're distanced from quant points, you're gonna be mostly okay. Like if I'm having a really slow day, then I'll actually just slow burn between quant points. If I'm hunting miners instead of cargo ships, you know.
Yeah.
One of my favorites that I almost always get a prospector or a rock miner is a Eager Flats Aid Shelter 2 Shubin. Just fly like slow zigzag between those two, and you'll almost always catch someone.
Yeah, no, I always, whenever I go to a location to pick up my rock, I'll go to a different moon, or maybe the other side of the moon, away from a navigation point. And if I see that there's anybody else besides myself at the mining location, I don't stay on that planet. I go somewhere else completely. Because it's not difficult to just simply follow a rock miner who's not paying attention. All right.
Yeah, so, and I will follow them. And
so how easy is it to sneak up on some of these people?
Like they can't target my Scorpius until about 14 to 15 kilometers. So I've got several thousand meters of wiggle room where I can see them and they can't see me.
Oh wow! So you could be like right out on the edge of your detection range and they will not see you at all.
Right.
And you can just follow them at a casual pace and wait for them to come to a stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then that means you know they're about to deploy their rock and wait a couple minutes for them to get some goods, then blap them. How often do you, like, what are things you're looking for on a mark? Like, what's going to tell you that they're an easy target, and what's going to tell you that they're a hard target?
I mean, they're all easy targets. I'm not coming in for a duel, you know. I'm coming in with, at the very least, a Scorp and a crude Cuddy Blue, and probably a couple of light fighters as well, and maybe another Hurricane or Scorp. But it's not going to be hard.
Yeah, that'll be a quick kill, especially with our freaking Hurricane. You'll just shred them.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a 6v1. It's not a dogfight.
Yeah.
They're all. The only way they could make themselves a hard target is by not being seen in the first place, or by having a massive escort. But they're not going to have a massive escort because, you know, it wouldn't be profitable. So
right, and their escorts
basically just don't get seen.
More often than not, their escorts don't want to sit back and watch somebody rock mine all day. That would get boring.
Yeah, we have run into a couple of like escort situations, but they still didn't have enough ships to stop us.
Oh, wow.
The difference between us and, you know, like gankers and cargo haulers and miners is a couple of major points. We're playing for fun with our friends. and we're just having fun. We don't care if we like make a profit or not.
It's not
Like we
about the
knock
money.
down, we'll knock down a C2 that's full of gold, you know, and we'll take 2 boxes off of it. And then half the time we don't even go sell those 2 boxes. We'll just throw them out in space because it's not worth the effort of going to sell them, you know. And even if we do sell them, we won't even bother splitting the funds or anything because no one cares about the credits. Like, so we're just doing it for fun, and we're also in a group, and that's like 2 major advantages that we have over like cargo haulers and miners and stuff.
So,
They're trying to make money, and they're alone.
Yeah, you run the risk if you go alone. It is that risk versus reward dynamic, isn't it?
Right. And again, it's not profitable enough for them to like bring a big escort, you know, like
Yeah.
for them to like for a cargo ship to have an escort that could save him from us, he'd need to have at least like 4 or 5, you know, fairly competent fighters.
All right.
And
then
just being able to take people's cargo is
Yeah.
close enough to completion for me. Like we waited a long time for this.
Yeah. I mean,
I would like it if they restored balance and weapon components though. Like
oh, no kidding. Distortions are starting to make a real comeback now. Like the ship distortion weapons, they're coming back.
we do our testing every patch.
Now I am scanning my radar, kind of on and off, about every 10 seconds.
No one can see your scans. They won't show up to other players at all.
Like, so how long do you think the radar on the little rock is? Like, will you detect my cutlass?
Oh,
black?
you've got to be like at least within 500 meters to see those.
So worrying about looking at your radar on the rock is kind of silly.
Yeah, no one's gonna see that unless they're like right on top of you.
Basically, if somebody was trying to sneak up on me, they would actually have a visual on me long before my little radar picks it up.
Oh yeah.
They're just deciding where to fire the missile.
I can say the Cutlass isn't the greatest choice for that because of its visibility range. A Freelancer would be significantly better. Freelancers are kind of hit or miss.
What about a Nomad?
Nomad would be even better. You know, that's like pushing about 8 or 9 kilometers detection range.
Really? I
Yeah,
had
a
no idea.
lot more low vis.
I had no idea. I mean, I just love my Cutlass. It's just one of my favorite
So
ships.
the detection range is irregular though. The cross section, I believe, impacts it a lot. Like what angle you are to the ship you're detecting.
So it works like a LiDAR.
It appears to. I don't have exact science on that. But it's not completely consistent. That's for sure.
Well, there you have it. From a ganker and a pirate to you. Use this information wisely. And also, happy rock mining and happy gaming.